Okay, so if you are needing more practice with absolute location, here are some examples to remind you how to work with latitude and longitude. So the first thing I want to do when I work with latitude and longitude is remember that my latitude lines are the lines that go across the globe horizontally, and the longitude lines are the lines that go up and down on the globe vertically. So my latitude lines, when I look for my latitude lines, I want to find first the equator, which should be in the middle if I'm looking at a whole map of the world, and that's my 0 degrees latitude. Latitude will measure how far north I go if I go up from the equator, or how far south I go if I go down from the equator. For my longitude, I want to find the prime meridian, which again, if we're looking at a map of the entire globe, will be in the middle, and that's my 0 degrees longitude. For my prime meridian, starting there, I'll measure east with my longitude lines, or I'll measure west with my longitude lines. So for a few examples, if I'm looking for 40 degrees north and 100 degrees west, and I want to know what continent it is on, I start by finding the equator. The latitude is always measured first. So from the equator, I'm going north. I know I need to go up. So I'm going to go up, and I see that we have 20 degrees north and 40 degrees north. So I'm going to measure this line 40 degrees north all the way across. Then I can look for my longitude. My longitude is 100 degrees west. So I start with my prime meridian, which is 0 degrees. I'm going west, so I know I need to go to the left. If I forget my directions, I can always look at my compass rose. I go to the left, and I see 20 degrees west, 40, 60, 80, and 100. So I can follow that line 100 degrees west. Take note on this globe, that line curves. So I want to make sure I follow it down along the curve to where it meets with 40 degrees north. And I'm right here in North America. So for that one, we can put North America. For my second example, I have 30 degrees south and 130 degrees east. Again, it's latitude first, so I can go to my equator. This time I'm going south, so I know that I need to count down. So I have 20 degrees south, 40 degrees south, and 60 degrees south. 30 is not marked and labeled for me on this map, so I know that I need to estimate where it would be. So I have 20 and 40, 40 and 60. I know that 30 comes between 20 and 40, so I can go halfway, and I'll make a little mark to make sure I know where I am on my map. So imagine that I have a line going across here between 20 and 40. That would be my 30 degrees south below the equator. For my longitude, I have 130 degrees east. I have 0 in the middle again, looking for my prime meridian. Going east, I know I need to go to the right, so I count over 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, and 140. Again, 130 is not marked on this map, so I have to estimate. 130 would come between 120 and 140, so I can estimate about halfway in between. Again, these lines are curved, the longitude lines, so when I see that, I know I need to follow that same pattern and estimate in between. And then if I follow my estimated latitude line, I know I should cross in Australia. So for my second answer, I have Australia. Now, if I reverse the problem and I give you a location and I want you to tell me the latitude and longitude, the first thing I need to do is make sure I found the location. So for these, I just gave continents. It could be something more precise like a city, but we'll start with continents. So here we have Africa. So I find on my map Africa, which we know is this continent here. And I can pick anywhere on this continent that I want to find a location for. So I'm going to pick right here where I have two lines that intersect. So where I've got my dot, where those lines intersect, I just need to follow the lines to see where the measurements are on my globe. So I know I need to look for my latitude first, because again, I always write latitude first and then longitude second. So if I follow this line over, I can see that it's marked 20 degrees north. So I'm going to mark 20 degrees north for my latitude. Now for the second one, I need to find my longitude. So again, I can know I'm looking for my longitude line, which is my up and down line. And I can follow the line either direction to find the measurement for this line, and I go all the way up. And it says 20 degrees east. So we're doing 20 degrees east. Now, if it had not told me the directions, for example, if it just said 20 degrees, I could still look at my map and know that I'm on the right side of my prime meridian, so it must be east, and I'm above my equator, so it must be north. So that's how I would know my directions if it's not marked on the map. For Asia, we'll challenge ourselves a little bit, and let's pick a location that is not directly where lines intersect, but in between. So we'll choose this location here on the continent Asia. So again, I'm looking to see how far above the equator I am. So I've got my equator here in the middle, and I'm going up. I've got 20 degrees, 40 degrees, and 60 degrees. My dot's about halfway between 40 and 60, so I can estimate 50 degrees north. Now I did put the dot on a line for longitude, so I can follow the line again up and down and find the measurement, and if I follow it up, I see that it's labeled 100 degrees east. So things to remember now that we've gotten our coordinates and we found continents, make sure that each time you're looking for a location, you start by finding the equator or finding the prime meridian and then measure from there. Double check your compass rose to be sure you are going the correct direction. If you're going north, you're going up. If you're going south, you're going down. And if you're going west, you're going left. And if you're going east, you're going right. And then the last thing to be careful of is to make sure that if we're estimating in between lines of latitude and longitude, that we're putting that estimation in the correct place.